get on each side of Mr. Hamilton's body. He would just start moaning and groaning to go ahead and give him my address. I was thinking about you the other day, so I decided to pick up the old yearbook and I was looking at your picture. Why didn't you tell me this at the time? Even if I do report him after all these years, I was able to find his phone number, so I'm just gonna call him. Hi darlings, it's me, Christine D'Amour. Today I'm actually going to be sharing a story time about how I was extremely violated by my 4th grade teacher, and I'm really going to need your guys' advice on what you think that I should do about this situation down in the comments below, because although this many years have passed, I just really feel like there's something that I should be doing. Since I always provide you guys with some sort of evidence to back up my stories, not only did I find my old teacher's address, but I also found his phone number too. So guess what we're doing today? We're gonna fucking call him. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on the story. So from kindergarten to 3rd grade, my family and I lived in a town called Vacaville in California. But by the time 4th grade ended up rolling around, my mom and my dad and I picked up and we decided to move to a town that was 20 minutes away. But at this time, of course, I did not want to move and leave my friends. So even though we lived 20 minutes away from where my school was, my parents both decided that it was okay for me to continue attending school there in Vacaville and that my dad would just drop me off on his way to work, because conveniently he actually worked at the hospital in Vacaville also, so it all worked out. So because I'm pretty sure that legally I'm not allowed to mention my old teacher's name, we're just gonna call him Mr. Hamilton. And just to give you guys an idea of what he looked like, he was bald at the top of his head, but the lower part of his head he had long gray hair that he tied up into a ponytail at the nape of his neck. He always wore these short sleeve button-up t-shirts that had patterns on it that looked like they were from Tommy Bahama. So in Mr. Hamilton's class, it was actually 4th and 5th grade students that were combined in one classroom together. So even though I was in 4th grade, I ended up becoming really close friends with a 5th grader whose name was Angel. We were very imaginative kids and we bonded on everything that was like strange and odd and creepy and paranormal type stuff, and we had sleepovers at each other's houses, so we quickly ended up becoming best friends. So in Mr. Hamilton's class, he actually had a class pet, which was an iguana that he kept in a large fish tank. And one day while the whole class was out to recess, Angel and I stayed inside and we're kind of just looking at the iguana in the fish tank. So Mr. Hamilton ends up walking up behind us and he says, you know, iguanas love clovers. If you guys want to go out to the field and go pick some, I'll let you go feed him when you come back. So of course we were so excited and we felt so cool and so special to be given this job. So every day during lunch, Angel and I would go out to the field, go pick some clovers, and then we would come back to Mr. Hamilton's empty classroom where he would open up the fish tank and let us drop the clovers in to feed the iguana. Of course, this made us feel so special and so important, and we ended up spending a lot of time in Mr. Hamilton's classroom, just the 3 of us. So one day Mr. Hamilton decided to rearrange all of the desks, and even though Angel and I were such close friends and Mr. Hamilton knew this, he ended up seating Angel and I right next to each other. We were so excited and we thought he was the best, most nicest teacher in the world for doing this. Normally teachers don't allow friends to sit next to each other in the class. It was obvious that Angel and I were Mr. Hamilton's favorite students. Now before I jump into the part about where Mr. Hamilton violated me, I have to mention that in our classroom, Mr. Hamilton made a reward system that was similar to Chuck E. Cheese, where you would earn tickets for good behavior and use those tickets to exchange them to buy toys or other knickknacks that were in Mr. Hamilton's secret toy stash. And as I'm nose deep into the boxcar children, I hear Mr. Hamilton call out, Angel, Christine, can you come up here please? So I look over at Angel and I see that she's getting out of her seat and walking over to the desk. So as I make my way there, and as I get to Mr. Hamilton's desk, he's kind of already leaning towards us like he's trying to whisper something. And he says to us, I'll give you both extra tickets if you give me a neck and shoulder massage. Somehow Angel and I, our 10 and 11-year-old selves, agreed to partake in this, completely unaware that this was so wrong and completely creepy. Angel and I, a 10 and 11-year-old, get on each side of Mr. Hamilton's body, and we both start massaging his neck and his shoulders and his back and his arms. Like, this is our teacher. This is who our parents trust to teach us. The person that we trust to keep us safe. And I just remember the sounds that he would make when he really liked the massage. He would just start moaning and groaning like, what the fuck? ugh, no shame at all. So Angel and I had been massaging Mr. Hamilton for around a few weeks at this point, and as Angel and I are going up to his desk to give him another massage, Mr. Hamilton opens up one of his desk drawers and he pulls out 2 wooden massaging tools and hands them to each of us. What the fuck? This grown-ass man literally thought about our massages well enough to go outside of school and purchase, with his own money, some massage tools for us to massage him better. Let me just buy these girls some extra special massage toys to massage me with. So the massages carried on until the end of the school year. None of us had decided to tell our parents because none of us thought that this was weird because we were earning tickets. But one thing that I do remember is that there was one window in the classroom that he had taped off with like red construction paper. Even if somebody passed by, literally nobody was able to look inside of our classroom. So it was close to the end of the school year. My parents decided to tell me that for 5th grade, I would be going to a school that was closer to our new house. And I was very sad about this, so I was telling Angel one day while we were feeding the iguana, and Mr. Hamilton kind of butts into our conversation, and I confirmed to him, yes, that I was going to be moving. I guess he had thought that since 4th and 5th grade was combined in his classroom, he assumed that I would be in his class next year. And this is just where it gets a little more sketchy. A few days go by and Mr. Hamilton asks me alone to come up to his desk, and Mr. Hamilton starts showing me what he's doing on his computer, and I see that he's got Yahoo Maps on his screen, and he asks me for my new address, and so I decide to go ahead and give him my address. And so Mr. Hamilton just starts typing it in, and he's kind of scrolling, and he's looking at the surrounding streets near my area. He's asking me if certain streets sound familiar to me, and of course, being that I was only in 4th grade, I never paid attention to streets, so I had no idea. So what he was doing asking a student for their address, I have no idea. But does it seem like it's something that's standard practice? No. So my 4th grade year ended up coming to an end, and I moved on to another school, and I finished off my high school year, so 8 years ended up going by. I have Lexini at this point. Chris and I are together. So for some reason at this time, Chris, Lexini, and I ended up being near the Vacaville area, so I decided it would be a fun opportunity to take Chris and Lexini through my old hometown and kind of take a drive through memory lane and show them my old house and all of the hot spots where I used to hang out, and I decided to go ahead and show them my old elementary school. And it was the summertime, so no kids were on campus. I decided to bring Chris and Lexini onto campus and just kind of walk around and kind of tell them where I used to have my classroom, where we used to sit and have lunch. So I mean, going back to my old elementary school was actually a lot of fun. I eventually ended up walking near my 4th grade classroom, which was Mr. Hamilton's class, and the door to this classroom was actually propped up open all the way. So I kind of poked my head in, trying to like sneak a peek of the classroom, not even thinking that Mr. Hamilton had still had the same class after all these years. And lo and behold, there he was, Mr. Hamilton, looking exactly the same as I remember him, sitting at his desk, exactly where me and Angel used to give him little neck rubs. So Mr. Hamilton ended up looking up and noticed me, and I can tell right away he knew exactly who I was. So since he already noticed me, I had no choice but to say, "Hi, Mr. Hamilton." And you know what he immediately says to me? Mr. Hamilton says, "I was thinking about you the other day, so I decided to pick up the old yearbook and I was looking at your picture." I don't know how he felt comfortable with admitting something like that. So, even though I desperately wanted to ask him, "So, are you still asking little girls to give you neck and shoulder massages?" I didn't want to cause a scene, so I just said my goodbyes and I left. So a huge mistake that I made was I never told my mom. So after we left the school, I decided to give my mom a call and tell her, "Hey, you know, I actually took Chris and Lexini to Vacaville, and we kind of like looked at the old house and took a trip down memory lane, and we actually went to the school." And then I decided to tell her about what my 4th grade teacher had me and Angel do to him. And my mom lost it. She screamed and yelled, "Why didn't you tell me this at the time?" I had no idea that it was wrong. God only knows that if the situation with the teacher or anyone had escalated to anything worse, if he had put his hands on me or anything like that, would I have even known that that was wrong at the time? So I'm making this video to let my viewers know that your siblings, your children, your nieces, your nephews, pretty much anybody that's young in your life might be completely unaware, as I was, of predators predators. And I'm sorry, but there's no way to describe my old teacher. Straight up, he's a predator. Because there should be no reason at all for an adult to ever ask for the services of a child to satisfy their needs. Please, please have a chat with the children and the young people in your life. So I did do some browsing online and I found some great tips, and I'll leave some links down below in case you guys are interested in how to have that conversation and how to open up that talk. I know a lot of people might be thinking, oh, it's just a massage that he asked you for. You're being too dramatic. Well, I'll tell you something right now. Upon doing a little bit of research on my old teacher, Mr. Hamilton, I was curious to know if he continued asking for these massages and if he ever got caught somewhere down the line. So I googled massage teacher arrested, and guess what? There has been some teachers that have been arrested and had their teaching license taken away for asking for massages from students, because it is wrong. It's not something that you should do because it makes you a predator. So because I was curious as to whether Mr. Hamilton was still teaching or not, I ended up doing a lot of research on him, and I found out that he was actually been retired for a few years now. So it kind of leaves me in a situation where even if I do report him after all these years, his license wouldn't be taken away because he is retired. So this is where I'm really going to need your advice, darlings, because what do you do with a situation like this? Do you just assume that he didn't mean any harm, or do you not take a chance? But besides all that, and thanks to the power of the internet, I was able to find his address and his phone number, so I'm just gonna call him. I literally cringed when I heard his voice. Oh, fuck. What do I say? What if it was only our year? Then he would be able to pinpoint us. This just like makes me really, really nervous. Okay, let me call back.
FBI?
I don't know. I freaked out. What do I say? I guess that I should have like started off by asking for your guys' advice as to if I should say anything on the phone. If you guys think that I should say something to him, let me know down in the comments below. Maybe I'll just make another story time video. Let me know down in the comments below. I literally don't have a clue how to handle this situation. I'm gonna ruin someone's life if I say something. I don't know. I literally don't know. So if you guys want me to go ahead and make another video and follow up with actually confronting him, let me know down in the comments below. But if you do have any other suggestions or what you think I should do about the situation, because I know that it's a serious thing, because teachers are getting their licenses and getting arrested for doing this kind of thing. So I have to try to tell myself that it is actually wrong. There could be an escalation to the situation. This kind of mentality that this teacher has as to why he thinks it's okay to request these services from a 10-year-old, you never know what kind of mind they have. You just don't. If you guys enjoyed this story time, go ahead and like it down below. If you guys do enjoy my story times, I'm gonna go ahead and leave my story time playlist down below so you guys can enjoy more of those. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and please subscribe to my channel by hitting that red button down below, and make sure that you hit the notifications button right next to that as well, so you guys can be notified instantly when I upload any of these crazy storytime videos or any other videos on my channel. And don't forget to follow me on social media. I'll have all of my links listed down below as well. As always, I love you darlings very much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye! Mwah!
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Oh, in other words,